Hello internet friends, my name is Lindsay or LiJo, and today we're going to be talking about those stubborn INJ types, where we like to dig our heels into the ground. So if you're an INTJ or an INFJ, or you know someone who is, you might find some insightful perspective in this video to where we can be a little bit stubborn. If you'd like to talk to me about this subject, you can book a video session below on my link to Snug. Here we go. Okay, so we all have areas that we're stubborn in, and it can be hard for us to move, especially as it relates to our fourth function. Those of us with introverted intuition, it can be particularly hard to deal with the extroverted sensing, the actioning in reality, and especially if items that are in play are not ideal for the desired outcome. Now, it's important to note that INTJs and INFJs will have different versions of what is truly ideal based on the extroverted thinking function or the extroverted feeling function. And so we're going to look at the positives and the negatives of this stubbornness as it relates to introverted intuition first and extroverted sensing last. So I started thinking about this a few weeks ago when I was playing poker and someone at my table said that I have the patience of a 90-year-old woman, especially how I fold from the small blind. And for those of you who don't know poker, that means you already have a little bit of money on the table because of the position you're in, and you only have to put a little bit more in to possibly call. However, I would look at my cards and I would fold, and fold. And after their comment, I kind of giggled to myself, but then I thought that actually this is a pretty good metaphor for what introverted intuition is doing a lot of the time. NI, introverted intuition, is constantly asking itself, how hard would it be to create the ideal outcome based on these different elements that are here at play? So how can this sense of stubbornness be both a positive and a negative? So where this is a great benefit to introverted intuitives is they have this sense of patience as it relates to when is the ideal time to pull the trigger on something, because they're so well defined on how they want something to come together, on how they want something to be completed in the full picture view. There is no sense of anticipation to play something that doesn't need to be played. And this helps us save a lot of time and energy and sometimes money in the sensory because we're not pulling the trigger in places where it isn't needed and expending more energy in those places. It also allows us to optimize certain situations and to bet in certain places that will likely play out to our advantage. But where can this be a hindrance? Well, simply in the situations in which the ideal circumstance, the ideal way of things coming together isn't as important as actioning something in the sensory in the real world. I'm very comfortable relying on the fact that I know and understand when something has locked into its ideal position as I see it. And this isn't a literal sensory framework, it's a metaphorical, abstract framework in which something of about the right size and shape, when it comes along and it fits in, then I know that, okay, this is the right place to action. However, there are times when just moving forward, just creating the action is more important than the ideal fit. And to us, that makes us uncomfortable because we're thinking about this is going to expend more energy. I'm going to have to possibly do more actions as a result of not having it come together a certain way. But there is a trade-off, and that's something we have to look at to say, is this worth going ahead with, even though it's not ideal? And so this is one area that NI will truly drag its heels and be stubborn about moving forward. However, there are also times when we see something that comes perfectly into its fit that we know is ideal, and often other people don't see that thing the same way that we see it. In those cases, we're going to be very quick to take the leap. We see the right pieces on the board of how something should come together, and we're going to jump ahead. We're going to make the leap even when it doesn't make sense always in the real world. So that's it for this video. I hope it helped you understand a little bit more about introverted intuition and where it can be a little bit stubborn as it relates to extroverted sensing. If you're wondering why your INTJ or INFJ friend isn't just not pulling the trigger on something, listen, it's probably not the ideal situation. However, keep us in check, keep us humble as well, and if something needs to be moved forward, bring that to our attention, I guess. All right, so that's it for this video. I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye, internet friends.